Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. My screen is visible to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Clearly.
Okay. Your class is at 15, 12:15. Exactly at 12:15 we will start.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Mr. Sonali Rahut. Mr. Sonali Rahut. Am I audible? I am asking Mr. Sonali Rahut.
Mr. Sonali Raut, am I audible? Unmute it and talk with me. Okay, still you have 2 minute time. Please, I request you, all of you, please join. Okay, still 2 more minutes is there. Someone want to join? So please, who has joined? Good afternoon, one and all. Please, who has joined? If any doubts from the previous and previous to before previous lecture, so just I still not started your actual syllabus, but I just give a brief introduction about the microprocessor. So from that, if any doubts, some doubts are asked yesterday, so I think all your doubts I get clarified. So apart from that, is there any doubts? From the yesterday's, only one doubt is pending, that is pin configuration. So I pin configuration I have to explain you in first or second lecture of that microprocessor E8085 pin configuration. So it needs for 1 hour. So that's what I keep pending yesterday. Apart from this, any doubts from my basic lecturing from first and second lecture, please uh, discuss with me for 2 minutes. So only you have to unmute who I want to ask the doubts. Apart from those, please all of you mute your voice because some disturbance is coming over here. So any doubts, please discuss with me for 2 to 3 minutes because some students are still joining. Yes, please. Okay, now it's 12:15. So better can we start now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
My voice and my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, dear all student. Always you responding me in a well manner. Thank you for that. Only 70 members are present. Still 70 members want to get admit. Okay, anyhow, we have to start and we'll admit along with my classes. Okay, dear all students, from today onwards, This is for the first lecture as per your syllabus. Today, what we are carry on. So, dear all students, as of you know, my introductions already I given you. So, this is about my first page of the presentation. So, in that, again, students are get that meeting. So, I request you please all my dear students, before I starting the class, as per exact your started point, before that, please all of you join to the link, join to the class. Please, it is my request. Because again, I wanted to start my class, someone are joining, again I will get admitted. It takes, again it is mismatching and get something disturbances and all. So please, I request you within time, at least we have to follow in next class onwards. Within the time, you be present in the class in my lecture. Okay. So again, yeah, Nilesh, they are get admitting. Okay. Fine, no problem. This is the first lecture. I'll excuse to everyone. But next onwards, you don't repeat such things. It's my request to everyone. Okay. If otherwise, you also getting this disturbance, even me also getting disturbance for that. Only 84 students are present. Still, 67, 80 students want to join. Okay, fine. Anyhow, I have to start my lecture. Yes, dear students, all of you, please listen here. From today, I have to start it. Your first semester of second year subject, that is microprocessor. The subject name is microprocessor. So in that, we have to start first in it. That first in it is introduction to microprocessor. That first in it is introduction to microprocessor. So in that introduction to microprocessor, I will move to that is what are the syllabus you want to study in the microprocessor first unit. So in that, so here, so this is the your unit syllabus. This is but your unit syllabus. That is the first unit syllabus. So in that, we want to study more important two topics. That is introduction to microprocessor, first one, and the second one, we are going to study features and pin diagram of 8085. So yesterday I got this question right, but I stopped. I keep pending because in this unit, first unit, we are going to study this pin diagram of 8085 as well as the pin diagram of 8086 also we have to study. So in upcoming units. So second point is we have to study main features of 8085 as well as the pin diagram configuration of 8085. So in that, we will study again in third point, that is architecture. That is architecture of 8085 microprocessor. That is MPU means microprocessor unit. So this one we are going to be studying. So in the first unit, as per syllabus, in the first unit, please all of you make a note. This is restricted for your 4 hours. This entire three main topics, that is introduction to microprocessor and features and pin diagram of 8085 microprocessor and architecture of 8085 microprocessor, we have to stipulate to study in this first unit of unit as per the university's prescribed syllabus. So again, now I'll start it with introduction. So before that, all my dear students, you have to refer some study material. So that is some important textbooks are there for the unit number 1, that is introduction to microprocessor. You go through this textbook, that is microprocessor architecture programming and applications with 8085. The name of the author is Ramesh Gaonkar. The edition is 5th edition. So for the first unit, only I am telling you for the first unit. For the first unit, all of you please go to this author, Ramesh Gaonkar, which is having a 5th edition. The name of the textbook is Microprocessor Architecture, Programming and Applications with 8085. So in this book, almost you have to getting all the complete syllabus matter in this textbook. Okay. So and along with that, what you will do, I have to prepare my own notes. I have to prepare by my own notes. That notes, after immediately completion of this unit, I will share it with you. So that notes also you have to refer. That is very easiest for you. Whatever I have to prepare these notes. So that's what that printed notes prepared by me. Prepared by me. So that notes you have to paper. So before starting of first unit, I will give you some instruction. Dear students, how you have to follow this microprocessor. Because as your senior, as your neighbors, as your so many people, they are saying, oh, in a CSC department, microprocessor is the toughest subject. Please, I tell you, don't you keep in mind microprocessor is the toughest subject. Today I am telling you microprocessor is one of the easiest subject in your first semester of second year. I will make you that much easy. For that, what I will do, I have to prepare these notes. I'll share with you. Don't worry. So for that, what every day you must and should attend the class without missing. Every day you must and should attend the class without missing. If any of the classes you missed, please you go through the video of my lecturing. If you have to getting any doubts on that day only, you try to get clarified it. Okay, dear students, what is the first point? You have to compulsory must and should attend my class, and in that class whatever I have to cover, concentrate on that, and you have to go and study in your home as per whatever I have to cover a topic in the class. Same day only you go and study. During the doing study, that time if you have to getting any difficulties, any problems, or any annoying things you are getting in that my lecturing, please you make a note in a one separate notebook. You have to make it as in that you have to make mention a point, and whenever you have a time, please you approach me in any time please you approach me. So majority of the time you try to approach me 5 to 7 evening. So apart from also, if you have any urgent basis, anytime you approach me and you have to get the clarified. This is the first thing. Second thing is, whatever I have to given a notes to you, that printed notes to you, you have to go through these printed notes completely, read it well, study well. In that also you have to getting any notes again, you have to make a list out, and that list out of the questions you discuss with me within the next class. So I have to expecting you from your side, whatever I covered a topic in a particular class, within that day only you have to complete your study. You want to make a perfect in that. Okay, this is my expectation from you. And for your doubts, always welcome to all the students. Always welcome. So one my feature, all of you, please you understand. Whoever asking more question, more doubts to me, I have to take more care, extra care for them. This is my one of the bad habits. Okay. So because bad habit means always you are hesitant to asking doubts, no? So feel free to ask the doubts. Don't make any differentiate, don't hesitate it to asking your doubts. Feel free to ask, and you have to get clarified. That is my main hobby. So how much you have to ask the questions, that much I'll take extra care for you students. Please you remember this in your mind. Okay. So next,
Hello,
third
sir.
point. Yeah, please.
So, what do you mean by architecture of microprocessor?
Still, I didn't started. See, this is there in the point third, right? I covered it.
No,
I covered it.
you used it many times. That's why I asked.
Many times see. This is the first unit of your syllabus, introduction to microprocessor. Still, I didn't entered. Still, I am outside the door. I said entered into the syllabus. Okay.
Okay,
Next,
sir.
I have to cover these features and pin configuration. After that, I'll come to this point, architecture. One by one, I have to explain you.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, fine. Just wait for that. Okay, everything is comes one by one after another. So in third point, what you will do? First point is compulsory how to attend the classes. Second point, you go through the my prepared notes, and third point, you go through this textbook. See, at the finally, you go through this textbook. In that textbook, also you have to get in complete information. Is it fine? So this is a basic idea what I given you. So this is about syllabus. Whatever the first is in syllabus, I have to start it. This is the syllabus, and this is a textbook, and one notes also I will give you. So now I will start actual class. I will start now. That is
Hello,
what is
sir.
actual class? Yeah,
Hello, some students are waiting.
yeah. I admitted everyone. Only two students are waiting.
Yes.
I admitted everyone. But it is their mistake. No, if they are coming late. Every 1 minute I am admitted to everyone who are in every 1 minute. So for that, please I request all of you present within the time. That's what I'll give you 15 minutes advance only. At the 12 only I will send you message, right? Okay, it's okay, no problem. Or thoda is beginning पे है, starting पे होते रहता है. But you don't repeat it in the future next class onwards. Okay. Yes. I repeated to everyone. No problem. Yeah, fine. So, okay, my dear students. So now we will start your actual syllabus with introduction. That is this is the first unit, introduction. This all is syllabus for your the first unit. So I'll go to the first point, that is introduction. In that introduction, the components of microprocessor. In that introduction, I'll go to the components of microprocessor. So before that components, I'll give the definition of microprocessor. See, what is a microprocessor? Yesterday also I given you the definition, one small definition from my own. What is microprocessor? Whatever you all play with the minute particles in a computer system and to do the processing, to do the particular task, that one we have to say microprocessor. So as per the textbook, I have to prepare three definitions. Please all of you make a note on this. The microprocessor definition, how to define. So first definition, the microprocessor is a multi-purpose we have to use. That is a clock driven is there, register based. So clock driven means that is a ALU. Multi-purpose means a many purpose you have to use microprocessor, clock driven and register based, and also digital integrated, because nowadays all the systems is integrated with microprocessor chips. Yesterday some devices you observed in my slides, right? So digital integrated circuit, and which can accept binary data as the input. Always the microprocessor which can accept binary data as the input. Binary data in the sense it is always 0 and 1. Binary data as input and process it, whatever taking input and processing it according to the instructions stored in its memory. According to the whatever you have to writing a code, you have to give in a command, as per it is going to be act and give the execution, and it will provide the result as the output. So how to define? The microprocessor is a multi-purpose clock driven register based and digital integrated circuit which accepts binary data as an input and process it according to the binary data instructions stored in the its computer memory and provides results and output. This is clear definitions for the microprocessor. Or one more definition we have to give in such a way that microprocessor is a computer central processing unit. Yesterday you saw that CPU, that is microprocessor is a computer central processing unit on a single chip, not a multiple chip. It is very important. On a single chip that contains million of transistors connected by wires. Million of transistors. What transistor will do? It is acting as a transmitter and receiver. To transmit the data, receive the data, give the input, and uh, you have to get the output. Give the input, get the output. In that way, you have to define that is microprocessor is a computer central processing unit on a single chip that contains millions of transistors connected in a wires. So yesterday's you saw the chip. N number of wires are going to be connected. That is connected through the transistors. That is connected through the transistors. Or one more definition, how we have to give a definition to the microprocessor. A microprocessor, see, it is a simple definition. Third one is very simple, and most of you have to rememberable definitions. That is, a microprocessor is a programmable electronic chip. It is a programmable electronic chip that has computing and decision making. That has computing means something it is going to be manipulated, and decision making capabilities similar to central processing unit of a computer. So out of these definitions, you have to give any one of the definitions, no problem. All three definitions are 100% correct. Okay. So any one definitions you have to make perfect and you have to answer it. Fine. So this is just definitions about microprocessor in the introduction part. So next, we will move to that components of microprocessor. See, as per your syllabus, components of microprocessor. Next, we will move it. So this is the almost components of your microprocessor. Yesterday's also in the basic class we saw that, but in detail we will explain now. Because today's now onwards, your actual as per syllabus, your actual class is going on. Okay, so in that. The components. What are the main components of the microprocessor? There are main three components of microprocessor. See, students, you make perfect here only in the class. You don't need to go and study in the home. Only for revision purpose, you have to recall my class notes, my class PPTs. So that much you have to please be concentrate and you make perfect here only. I will make you perfect in my class only. Okay, please be concentrate more on this. So these three are components of microprocessor. What are those three components of microprocessor? Arithmetic and logical units. We have to say ALU, arithmetic and logical units. Mainly it is in the CPU, central processing unit, and register array. So there is a register. What is a register? We look into that, and control unit. There is a one control unit. So these three we have to say that is components of microprocessor. There is a main components of microprocessor. In a question say, now you have objective types, but in theory kind of things and all in previous, you have to ask a question. Please, what are the components of microprocessor? Briefly explaining it. So this is the answer for you. So how you are going to be answered? What are the components of microprocessor? We have to say there are three components of microprocessor: ALU, register, control unit. Okay, as per you have to visible on the screen. Enough. Next, briefly explain the components of microprocessor. Now, one by one block you have to explain. So first block, you have to explain minimum 5 to 6 lines. How to explain? That is arithmetic and logical units. So in the block of arithmetic and logical units, it is going to be perform a task on all the arithmetic operations first. Then what are the arithmetic operations? The arithmetic operations are nothing but addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and mod. All these 5 characters of arithmetic operations, it will obeys. Which is obeys? That is arithmetic logical units. And second, that is a logical. So logical operations also it will do. ALU is also do logical operations. What are the logical operations? The logical operations are nothing but AND, OR, XOR, XNOR, NOT, NAND, all these logical operations also it will do. So this is enough, right? For 5 to 6 lines, just you have to use for 5 to 6 lines. Just use for arithmetic 2 to 3 lines, logical 2 to 3 lines, it becomes a 5 to 6 lines of your answer, more than enough. Just arithmetic and logical operations, that is all the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Along with that, all the logical operations like AND, OR, NOR, XOR, XNOT, all these NAND, get. Okay, so these are entire thing about arithmetic and logical units, more than enough for your answer. Is it remember? Is it memorable to you people? Very easiest, right? No difficulties. Very easy. You have to say always microprocessor is the easiest subject in this semester. Always you have to say to everyone that much easy I have to make you. Then Next one, again, register, second block, second component, register. So many registers you have to use it. From the PUC, from the 10 plus 2 in diploma, 10 plus 2 also you have to use it. N number of registers, right? You only have to calculate the value of registers also based on that color coding. So in the microprocessor, those kind of registers we have to use for memory storage purpose. Why we need memory storage? Why we need memory in the computer, in the microprocessor? We want to do the manipulation with the data, and we want to do the manipulation with the information. For that, we have to store some information, we have to store some data to do the manipulation with information or the data. For that purpose, we have to need register. We have to need register. So here with the register, I have to mention array. Very specific again. So I have to mention the array. So why we have to mention? So it means that what is the array? Can you define anyone? All of you studied C language. In that you have to write the concept of arrays, multi-dimensional arrays, single dimensional arrays, declaration, initialization, using, all these you studied. Can you define anyone what is the array? So okay, I'll tell you. Just listen.
Collection of data element.
Yeah, please.
Collection of data.
Okay, very
Collection.
good. Very good. Collection of data elements. Is there any more definition?
Array is a collection of similar type of data elements.
Array is a collection of similar data elements. Very good. Again, still any more? Still any more? Okay. Okay. Fine. You go and recall in the home. No problem. See, one answer I got. Array is a collection of data elements. Very good answer. Second answer I got. Array is a collection of similar elements. But such a kind of things you don't give the answer. No, really I will appreciate you because you are answered the question first. Really I appreciated you. But what I'm telling, being a CS background degree students, I will clearly tell you, you have to always do technically. Okay, you make improved, you make perfect. Okay, so I really appreciate your answers. So how to define the array? Array is a similar data elements. I appreciated exactly correct. Array is also a data, a collection of data elements is also exact. But how you have to give a definitions? You have to give a definitions in such a way that it cannot violate any other rules. See, one thing I will clarify to you today, make you perfect in this. If you perfect in this, you become a perfect in all aspects. Okay, so please be concentrate. Very important sentence definition of array. So how to define? Array is a similar group of elements. Three sentences just you have to use it for this definition. First definition, array is a similar type of group of elements, similar data elements, which is arranged continuously. Very important word, which is arranged continuously. If you miss the word continuously, then it is not 100% array's definition. Why means in the array there is no any gap between one element to another element. Okay, if there is a gap between one element another element, then you don't say array. It is not applicable to array definitions. Okay, can you got my point? How to define array is a group of similar elements. You given answer is very correct. Group of similar elements. Along with you have to say it is continuously arranged. If you use the word continuously arranged, again it is violating the rules because in the gap is there. That time you don't say it is an array. Array is a similar elements which can stored continuously one on another without any gap. One on another, either it may be in the row wise or it may be in the column wise, but it should be continuously. I think all of you got my point. How to going to define? So you have to give a definitions in such a way that you have to give an answer in such a way that wherever it can be applicable, the rules are not violated. The definition is not violated. Okay, it should be 100% accurate. For example, Newton's three laws you studied. How Newton's three laws? throughout the world, everywhere you go, these three laws are same, right? Everywhere it is applicable. There is no other than these three words on this earth about the Newtons in such a way that you have to create by your own mind. You have to give the definitions and you have to give any such kind of answers. Please be perfect in this. Okay, I think you have to got the definition of array. What is an array? It is a group of similar elements which can arrange it continuously one on another or side by side without having any gap, between two elements. Yes, am I right? How much it become a correct test of your definitions? So here I am using register array. In the register array means register is used for to storage the data or the information. So whatever the data and information you have to store, that should be stored continuously one by one on another or side by side without having any gap in such a way that you have to store the data in the microprocessor because don't have any wastage of memory. So this much is more than enough for to write a block of register of data. Again, 5 to 6 line, whatever I explain in this, you have to just go through in the write up. Okay, I think is it clear, all of you? Arithmetic and logical unit is clear. Register array is clear. Next, I will go to the control init. I will move to control init. So in the control init, whatever you have to make arithmetic operations, whatever you have to make logical operations, and whatever you have to make storage of. Okay, someone are waiting for the room. That's fine. I admit it. Okay. Dear friends who are very late, join us. Please join within the time in the next class. Okay. Fine. And now all of you are get admitted. So in the third block, there is a control init. So whatever you have to do the operations of arithmetic and logical and whatever all you are manipulating the data information in the registered memory, all those you have to keep control. All those you have to keep control, and that one we said is a controlled unit. It's like a driver in a vehicle. So what a driver will do? All the passengers controlled, right? Only the one person can move the vehicle, driving the vehicle, and all passengers along with just they have to follow with him the same route. So like that, the control there is a one control unit is there because everywhere one system or one organization or one office there is a one controller room is there. Okay, so what the controller room is main function, that is it controls whole system or whole organization or whole society. So here also in the microprocessor, that control unit will controls all the manipulation of the data which is stored in the register memory or storage memory in a such a way that array, and whatever the operation is do with that storage memory, that is arithmetic and logical, all these control will be done by the control units. Very simple, right? So, dear students, all of you get clear this one. Components of microprocessor as per your syllabus. As per your syllabus point introduction in that components of microprocessor. In the components of microprocessor, we have to study these three main points: arithmetic and logical units, register array, and control units. So please me authenticate. If you perfect in this test only, I will go to next slide. Next topic. So any doubts, please? See, always my class is interaction with you. Always my class is make you as entertainment. Like that only you have to study. Always I have to explain some topics. Based on that, I will give you time for the interactions, for any doubts, get clarified, and we will move to next topic. Please, any doubts with the introduction of microprocessor? That components of microprocessor.
So take the previous slide.
Previous slide. This one, this is syllabus.
No, sir, of definition.
Okay. Definition. Yeah, fine. Yeah, any doubts in this?
Sir, why a microprocessor called clock-driven system?
Just a moment. Someone are waiting in a meeting. I'll admit it first. Okay, now I admitted everyone. Yeah, please. Why that clock driven?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please your question. Repeat the question.
Why microprocessor called clock-driven system?
Okay. These clock concept you are studying in the unit of 4 and 5. In the unit of 4 and 5, you are going to study, supposed to study about this subject in the microprocessor. But in a short, I'll get clarified you. For the clock driven nowadays, see, in the old days, there is no matter of memory and there is no matter of time. In the olden days, around the history of below 1970s, below history, I'm talking about 1970s below histories. That time, people are not this much forward. So it means that those many olden days means our grandfather in the range of grandfather level, what they are doing in that time, they are not that much give the preference of time and they give the preference of memory that time. So nowadays generation is too fast. So one generation over, now everyone is not, now anyone is using first generation, no. Anyone is using second generation, no. Third generation also, now people are not using. Minimum the people are nowadays using fourth generations. So in the history of first generations, in the history of second generation, in the history of third generations, that time is not that much consistent. That time is not that much difference. But here nowadays, time is very, very important because of the more populations. Wherever you have to go, everywhere queue is there. You go to bank sector, always queue is there. You go to post office, queue is there. You go to any of the one private section, queue is there. Because that much time is not there for the people to wait. Time is not for, time is not there for the people to wait to complete their task. But here we have to complete a task within the time. We have to complete a task within the time. Instead of using a single clock, we have to use multiple clocks. So in the multiple clocks, it is shifted to another, one clock to another. That time we are going to do the clock driven. That time we have to going to do the clock driven. So clock driven is also a very important concept in the microprocessor. Why means through the clock driven, we have to save the time. Through the clock driven, we have to save the time. So 4 to 5 different types of clock driven points are there. I will explain you in the unit of 4 or in the unit of 5. Entire clear concept we are going to learn in that unit 4 and 5. So this is enough, I think, for this today's class. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is there any more question? Yes, I'm very happy. If you are asking such kind of questions, I'm very happy to answer you. Please, always I'm waiting your questions. Please, any questions? If no questions, then I'll move to next slide. So from the slide 1 definitions, I think no questions. Okay, good. I think all of you have to understood. And in the slide number 2, there's a components. Now only I have to explain these 3 components. No doubts, right? Okay, fine. Next, I will move to next slide. After the components, that is real introduction to microprocessor with the system bus. Yesterday's also I bit explain you, but today clear I'll give you the brief introduction about the bus. That is system bus. Okay, up to system bus previous slides, no doubt, right? Okay, fine, thank you. If no doubts, then I will go to the slide number 5. That is system bus. Okay, so again some students are waiting. First I got admitted. Yeah, 5. I think I admitted everyone. Yeah, 5. Okay. So dear students, system bus. Yesterday's also, yeah, I have to explain. I given you a one real world example, that is a real world bus. Maybe it is government bus. You take it as a government bus. In that government bus, there is a, see how we compare with our system bus with a real world movable bus. So here a CPU is there, memory is there, and we have to do the manipulation of data. Whatever we given to the system, that is input. and whatever we have to got the data after the execution from the system, that is output. Okay, so how we have to compare? How we have to compare? CPU is nothing but like your bus engine. Please be concentrate. CPU, central processing unit, is like your bus engine. What engine will do? Engine will start and it is helps to move the whole body. Helps to move the whole body. So you have to assume memory. Memory is nothing but all the human beings, all the passengers, human beings, whatever present in the body of the bus. Assume that this memory is nothing but all the human beings, whoever settled for the traveling in a bus, all those memory you compare with all the passengers, all the human beings. Instead of passengers, better you have to use the human beings, because human beings means driver, conductor, and passenger including. Okay, so memory is compared with all human beings present in a bus, and CPU is nothing but all your all your uh, engine of the body, that is bus engine, and input and output. What is input and output? The input is nothing but whoever whoever climbed the bus, and the output is nothing but whoever leave from the bus whenever their stop comes. So this one, incoming and outgoing. Incoming people into the bus, outgoing people into the bus wherever their stop is coming, and incoming wherever they have to climb the bus. Is it clear? So these three systems, just I am comparing with the real world bus system, that is central processing unit, like a bus engine, memory, like all the human beings, and input and output, who are coming inside and who are going outside. So entire this bus and that whole system of the body, bus body, and input and output, the only one we have to do the some communications. We have to do the some communications. So all this you have to just clarify. So before that, I have to say what is bus. Bus is a transferring agent of data from one place to the another place. So it is happening in a computer. That's what we have to say, computer bus. So this computer bus may be a wire. It may be a USB port or wire. That is nothing but your computer bus. So in that main section, that is moving part, that is the engine, movable part, and the entire body of the system is nothing but memory. And that's the from the door, whoever coming inside and whoever going outside, that is the input and output section. So by doing this, to do the communications, we have to need there is a one transferring agent, data transferring agent, or information transferring agent. That one we have to say bus. That is nothing but system bus. So in the system bus, there are three types. There are three types. Those are data bus, address bus, and control bus. As I explained to you yesterday, here the first one is a data bus. So it may be random. Anyone you have to indicate, no problem. So this is a data bus, and one more is address bus, another one is control bus. So once your system is now get ready, what the CPU will do? It will do all the operations for the moving the data from one to another. That is nothing but your system bus engine, and this all the operations will do with the memory. With the memory means that all the human beings you have to do the operations. Next, it is to manipulate input and outgoing. Okay, so here in this data bus, what the data bus will do? So again you come to this memory. So for these points, the data bus is equal to the passenger. Address bus is nothing but your driver of the bus, because he takes you into a particular address. And the control bus is nothing but conductor. In a bus, conductor, because wherever he want to stop and wherever he want to take into another place, because from his whistle he is controlling that moving bus, and also he is controlling all the passengers, like to collecting the tickets, right? Okay, so like this is the address bus, and the next that is the control bus. So all these three, how we have to compare with real world. Data bus is nothing but passenger, address bus nothing but driver, and control bus nothing but conductor. So how these three members are working in a bus system? Same way this functionality is happened in the bus system of microprocessor. Okay. So this entire system we have to say microprocessor. Now come to the point to the microprocessor. Exactly what is CPU? CPU. This one is a central processing unit. It will manipulate all the arithmetic and logical operations. So next is a memory. That memory is nothing but what? It is a registers which can store the data, store the information, and manipulates as per the CPU instructions and get the data. And third one is that is input is whatever you have to give a input, binary input, that is 0 and 1 to the system, and as per your instruction it is going to be converted and give the execution as per your needful output. This is your input and output. Next, the data bus. The data is going to be transferred through a wire, through a bus, from one place to the another place, either it may be CPU to memory, memory to input, or input to output, output to memory, memory to CPU. Wherever it is needful, that data is going to be transferred through a bus. That one we have to say data bus. And the second one is address bus. In that address bus, wherever the data is going to be transferred from one place to another place, particular that destination address is going to be found, and for that address only the data is to be sent by the address bus. And next one is the control bus. This control bus is going to be control this address bus and the data bus for the transmission of data, either it is going to be to reach a correct destination or not. So this is all about system bus. This is all about system bus. Okay. So in the system bus, three components already studied in the microprocessor: CPU, that is arithmetic and logical units, and memory, nothing but the registers, and the last one is a control unit, that is a control of a bus. Okay. So these three just you have to explain in 8 to 10 lines. CPU 2 to 3 lines, memory 2 to 3 lines, input and output section 2 to 3 lines, and this control bus, data bus, and address bus each 2 to 3 lines. It become minimum 12 to 15 lines, more than enough for your answer. Okay, dear students, very easy, right? No difficulties. Very later on, 1, 2, 3 classes, just you have to stick with this. Again, it becomes very easy, no problem. In first class only, all of you this much flexible means no doubt. You definitely have to success in this subject. Okay. So please, any doubts from this slide? Slide number 5, that is system bus. So yesterday also clearly I will explain to you. Even today also I have to repeat it. Please, any doubts, ask me question. So can I understand all of you understood clearly? Okay, fine. I am happy. If you understood, I am very happy. So next, I will move to some other good concept, that is microprocessor systems with the bus organization. Whatever you have to study, this bus system with the bus organization. So here in this, how you are going to be do the connection with all the microprocessor devices with the bus system. So here in this is a total bus system. This bus system we are going to be connected with input and output, and also this bus system we have to going to connect it with memory. Either it may be a RAM memory or it may be a ROM memory. RAM means read and write. ROM is only read only memory. Okay. So our bus we have to connect it to the memory, and we have to connect it to a input and output, and also we have to connect it this bus to all the related components. So see, these components already we studied, right? Now only that is arithmetic and logical units. So it is only through the system bus how you are going to be connected with your components of microprocessor. How you are going to be connected with your components of microprocessor. Here, this system bus, we are connected with the CPU, that is arithmetic and logical units, registers, control units. What are these three components of microprocessor? And this system bus, it is connected with ROM, read-only memory, and read and write memory. And the same we have to give for the input, binary inputs in 0 and 1, and we have to get same from the output, execution output result from the system bus. So here So these things clearly I explained to you. Again, I no need to explain, right? And here input and output also all of you know. Just whatever you have to fetch the data and is nothing but input, and whatever you have to get the result from the system, that is nothing but output. So now I will memory also have to explain it. In that memory you have to read only memory and write only memory. So read only memory is example for your system RAM. So in the system, even in your mobile also having a one RAM, right? That is 2 GB, 4 GB like that, isn't it? So that the read and write RAM you have to use it, and ROM means only read purpose, not a writing, not a editable purpose. Okay, well, yes, friends are waiting for joining. Okay, admitted. Fine. So in such a way that you have to do the system bus connection of system bus. Whatever this system bus you have to study it, control, address, and data. So that connection with your real microprocessor components. This way you have to go and do the connections. So is it okay? So as per syllabus, see components of microprocessor I covered system bus, that is three types: data address and control bus. I have to cover today's class, and the microprocessor system with organization. So today's now what I explained, that is organization. So this is nothing but your organizations. So all these three of the introduction of microprocessor, just introductions I have to cover. Okay. So next, can I move to next topic? Are any doubts regarding these three topics as per your syllabus? Please ask me. Now it is 1 o'clock. I'll give you time for 5 minutes. So please recall these slides. Whatever this is the first slide, second, third. Recall this all the 5 slides. Any doubts? Please go through the slides. Now I'm keep on opening only. Make big size and check it. If you have any doubts, ask me within 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, I'll go to next topic. That is features. After 5 minutes, I'll go to this topic. So before that, you go through it and ask me any doubts with you, please.
Sir, architecture meaning here, sir.
Yeah, please, I didn't get you.
Sir, what do you mean by architecture of microprocessor?
See, still the architecture of microprocessor is here. Still, I didn't go through it. See, one by one, I'll explain you. Okay. Hello.
In short, sir. In short, sir.
In short, architecture. In short, see, actually it is there, but just I'll show you. See, this is the actual architecture of microprocessor. Okay, I want to explain you in the next lecture. So this is 10th slide. Already I made you all the notes for you, and this is also a architecture. Some see, architecture means okay. I think you are more interested in the architecture because twice you are asking this question. Okay, fine. Thank you for your interest in the architecture. For example, see, are you heard about along with engineering how the engineering degree is there? Like that, there is a one architecture degree. Are you heard it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. In the engineering, what you will do is see, for example, you are a software, you are a computer engineer. Being a computer science people, you are a computer engineering. In the what are the things you are studying in the degree career means you are studying all the software languages like programming languages, C language, C++ language, Java language, .NET, uh, Python, COBOL, Fortran, many things you are going to be studying, right? It is means that you are software engineer, just you are studying coding part. You are studying a coding part, but where you are going to be apply it, where your skills, your knowledge, your coding, your logical, your technical skills, where you are going to be apply it you have to apply it through the computer, right? So for example, your computer, just you are the going through the functionality as per your coding, your technical, your logical things. But here computer is one of the hardware body. Okay, so in the computer they have to made it okay, use it one more example I will give you. So everyone, you know about the house, right? Home, construction of home. So as per your home, uh, yeah, if the engineer want to build a very building, is very main building is there, no? That is this all department building, main building. So they are not started with a single. Directly they are not started with the construction of a building. Before that, what they will do, they will make a plan in such a way that there is a one frame they have to prepare, one frame they have to prepare. How they have to prepare one frame means where the main administrative office we have to maintain, and where classrooms we have to do, and where labs rooms we have to do, where control rooms we have to do, where reception rooms, where that is restrooms like toilet rooms, bathrooms. All these sectors they have to make a one plan, and according to that plan we have to prepare one frame. So that frame we have to call it as an architecture. Then what is the architecture? The architecture is nothing but it is a pre-planned design. It is a pre-planned design to build something, to construct something, to build something, to construct something. So that one we have to say architecture. For example, computer, your keyboard is there. So in a keyboard, there are so many minimum 103 keys are available. Maybe some keyboards are 103 keys, some keyboards are 105 keys. Okay, so all these are randomly arranged. Okay, all these abcd alphabets are randomly arranged, but why they are not arranged serially a b c d up to z? Why they are not arranged? Can you remember? Can you have any idea? You see, first in the keyboard you have to check it. Q is there. After that, W, E, R, T, Y, U is there. So actually it is a random, no? But still also everyone we have to using the keyboard, same keyboard. Why means the designer who are prepared this hardware part of keyboard, the designer, he has to make a easiness in such a way that all our 10 fingers, two hands of 10 fingers working at a time. For that purpose, they have to make a one architecture. As per the architecture, he has to settle the keys, because instead of you have to use serial alphabets of A, B, C, D up to Z, you have to use it this fashion. Your typing is going to be a fast. So in such a way that he, one of the good engineers, that time they have to design it, and now it's applicable to everywhere in the user friendly and in the easiness. That's what we have to use the same keyboard. Still, we today we also using that same keyboard. Is it right? So this entire keyboard, what he has to made a frame, what he has to made a frame. Wherever tab button is there, wherever caps button is there, shift button is there, control and alt button, enter button, backspace, delete, and page up, page down, all the 103 keywords. He has to make a one structure. He has to make a one frame. He has to design in such a way that it should be easiness to the everyone. So that whole structure we have to say it is a architecture. We have to say it is a architecture. So now we have to see the screen. So this is actually the architecture. Wherever we have to use the interrupt control and accumulator memory, temporary registers, and your algebraic and logical units, and some flags, and your bus, that is 8-bit data buses, instructions, and that is coder and decoder, encoders for manipulating the data. And these are the some clocks we have to use ready. So like these are one keys like your keyboards. So all these we have to explain you. It is coming in next classes. Okay. So just wait for it. I think it is enough for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Don't worry. Still, it is there for your syllabus. I will explain you whenever that time comes. Maybe in next class. Maybe next to next class I have to explain this one. Okay. Uh, okay, students, one request, whatever you have to ask doubts, I'm very happy and to respond you. But at that time, whenever I am going to explain particular things, if you ask some questions in that time means you get more clarified. if you are asking doubts in advance means it is maybe disconnected because this architecture is comes after the pin diagram. So this is the pin diagrams. So actually before this is one extra and entire pin diagram. So okay, I want to explain you. So yesterday only one of the students are asking this one because maybe he don't know what is the next class. So if you are asking it in advance means you are not get cleared. If you are asking particular today's concept means you 100% you'll get clarified. Okay, no worry. I am not getting any boring about your questions. I am very happy to take your questions. But sequentially, if we have to move means we have to understand each and everything in a good manner. Is it okay? Dear students, architecture, is it okay? Can I move to my topic serial wise?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Fine. So why I am more appreciating to who are asking questions now because at least compared to other students, they have a capability of to asking something. So for that purpose, I am happy. For that purpose, I appreciate you. Okay, because always asking questions, showing a good performance, be regular. Always it is plus point to you. Please don't degrade this point. Okay. Always I will encourage you such students. More encourage. I encouraging to everyone. I'll take care to everyone. But who are asking more questions, I will encouraging more and I will take extra care for them. That is my one of the hobbies. Okay, fine. Anyhow, we are happy. If you happy, then I am happy. Okay, fine. So, okay, again, students are waiting for admit. See, yet now it is 1:12. 1 hour is over for my class. So now you admitting means what are the information you are getting. So totally you have to lose your this 1 hour lecturing. Okay. So please don't go for loss. Means that if be present within the time. Be present always within the time. Who are latecomers, please. Okay, it's the first class. It's okay for you. But anyhow, anytime I have to admit it, it is not loss for me. If you are admitted late, it is loss for you. Whatever I have to explain, that one is going to be again. You may get difficult to understand next topic. Okay, fine. Anyhow, I'm very happy with you students because if this kind of questions you are asking and if you are answering my questions also, so it means that I'm very happy. It means that something you are learning. So your interest is always appreciable my side. Okay, thank you. So next, I will go to okay, dear students, up to the 5 slides, please. Still have any doubts up to these 6 slides because up to this I have to explain it now. Okay, so this is the first point of your syllabus. This first point of your syllabus as per screen what I am showing you. So this much I have to cover. So in this much, no doubts means I'll go to next topic, that is features of microprocessor and pin diagrams of microprocessor. So today I have to cover only features of microprocessor, and tomorrow I will take pin diagrams and architecture because this chapter as per your syllabus, your first unit is only for 4 hours. Today 2 hours I have to cover up to the features, and in the tomorrow's again I am first hour I have a class. In tomorrow first session I have a class, microprocessor class for you. In that I have to cover pin diagram of microprocessor, pin diagram. So first point I have to cover it today, and tomorrow the second point, pin diagram and architecture, I have to cover you today. Okay, so now I will move upon your as per syllabus, features and pin diagram. I will take it as first one, features of 8085 microprocessor. Okay, so dear students, once you got introductions, means that components, means that system bus, and that system bus wherever you have to applicable with the particular organization of microprocessor. So once you come to know this idea, next, what are the silent features? What are the silent properties of the 8085 microprocessor? Now we will go through it. So for these main features, I have to prepare minimum 8 to 10 points. So that 10 points, I'll go through it. Please, all of you observe to the slide. So in this is your syllabus. Second point, that is first in the second point, you have to observe these features of 8085. For that, I have to prepare the slide. That is okay. See, this is the, it is also comes under the first unit. The name of the unit is Introduction to Microprocessor. That is, I have to mention every slide. Don't get confused. Okay. Entire your first unit is nothing but the Introduction to Microprocessor. So in that, we will go through the features of microprocessor. Features of microprocessor 8085. So uh, the 8085 is a one of the most important feature is it is a 8-bit microprocessor. So you know regarding memory, right? Almost you have to talk it in a GB, because your computer memory and all, you are maybe talking GB, or how many GB is there your mobile RAM, how many memory is there. It may be a 16-bit 16 memory, 32 or 64, 1 TB, 512 MB, 128 MB, like that you are talking, right, in general, as per your mobile. And even as per your computer also, either is it a 256 MB, or is it a 512 MB, or is it a 1 TB? 1 TB means that is 1000 MB, 1000 GB. 1 TB means 1000 GB, like that you have to.
Terabyte.
Yeah, please, if you have any questions, ask me. Otherwise, you mute it. Okay. So like that you have to talking in a general, right? So here in the microprocessor, that is 8-bit. So whatever you are using for your semester, you are using a microprocessor, that is a 8-bit microprocessor. It means that it can accept 8-bit data simultaneously. The microprocessor is a 8-bit means the 8-bit data. 8-bit data is accessing simultaneously. So that is the first main features of a microprocessor. And the second feature is it is operates, the microprocessor is operates in very low power supply, that is 5 volt. That is 5-volt DC supply, that is direct current supply. The second main features is the microprocessor is working with 5-volt DC supply. First point is it is a 8-bit microprocessor. Second one is it is a operates in 5-volt DC supply. And the third one, it is designed with NMOS, that is MOSFET, and these are the some kind of that is power electronics devices, that is NMOS technology. So this NMOS technology, your microprocessor is working with NMOS. That is a NMOS technology. We have to use it in the microprocessor. So after 8085, that is also one of the main important feature. And next one, that is the fourth one, is very important, which is 60 to 100 transistors are there on a single chip. So here it's a very important concept. 60 to 100 means 6200 transistor. It means that more than lakhs together books you have to store in this single chip of a micro processor. So that's what we have to use, more popular with the microprocessor. What's the fourth point? That is 60 to 100 transistors on a single chip. And the microprocessor, the fifth point, it provides a chip clock generator. It provides a clock generator. As the clock D1, what I have to, some questions are I'm getting, but this clock generator D1, we have to explain in the fourth unit completely. So that's the one of the main features of clock D1, clock generator in the microprocessor, because it is the most essential for to save the time, and hence it does not require. So for this clock generator, we don't need of external clock generator. Only one single clock generator is more than enough for here for accessing one by one each time. So that's one of the main features of microprocessor. And after that, the microprocessor will operates on. So it is operates on with a 5 voltage supply. That's the matter. And it is also operates on, that is 6 point, also operates on 3 megahertz clock frequency. So in the clock generator, it is So 3 megahertz means what is mega? Mega means it is 10 to the power of plus 6, not a micro. 10 to the power plus 6 mega. Okay. So in this, that clock is going to be operatable capacity is there in the 8085. So okay. So next one, that is in the point number 7, 8-bit multiplexed address, that is data bus. 8-bit multiplexed means AD0 to AD7 means AD01, AD02, AD means address lines, AD01 up to AD07. So totally 8 multiplexed address or data lines are there. That capacity is there in the 8085 features of microprocessor. So in the 10th point, the microprocessor is having a 16 address lines. 16 address lines. Don't get confused. It is a 8-bit with 16 address lines. Okay. 16 address lines are nothing but there are 16 address data buses are there. 16 address buses are there. 8-bit means it is related to memory. It is related to bus. 16 address lines is related to bus. 8-bit is related to memory. Don't get confused with the first point and ninth point. So in the ninth point, that is 16 address lines. Hence, it can be 2 raised to 16. 16 means 2 raised to n. N is nothing but 16 address lines. How much 2 raised to 16? It becomes a 64 kilobytes. 64 kilobytes, not a bytes. Okay. It's a 64 kilobytes of memory. In such a memory capacity is there in the 8085 microprocessor. And also, it generates 8-bit. As per the memory, it generates 8 input and output addresses at a time. 8 means that is again 8 is nothing but n number is 8. 2 raised to 8 is 256 input and output IO ports at a time only. You are going to be connected to the 8086 microprocessor. What is the capacity of IO ports? That is 256. It means that 2 raised to 8. 8 means that is 8 bit input and output addresses. That is the 10 point. And the next one, it is having a 5 hardware interrupts. So interrupts also comes in the topic of 6, in the unit of 6. In the unit of 6, you have to getting a interrupt topic, complete interrupts you have to study. You go and check with syllabus. There you are here it is interrupts only. So in that interrupts, so many types are there, but 5 are main types. So all those 5 main types of interrupts it can support. Means your 8085 microprocessor can support your 5 different types of hardware interrupts, that is trap, RST 6.5, 5.5, 4.5, and INTR. So this about the interrupts we will explain you in the unit number 6. But just we come to know that all the 5 hardware interrupts are supported by the features your 8085 microprocessor. That's what that one feature also we have added in the list of 8085 microprocessor. Okay. So and the last one, that is it provides means it supports DMA also. Then what is DMA? DMA is nothing but it is a dynamic memory allocation. That is nothing but dynamic memory allocation. So there is the 2 types of memory allocation, right? So all of you have to study it in C programming also. What are those 2 types of memory allocations? Can you say now?
Static and dynamic.
Very good, very good. Static memory allocation and dynamic memory allocation. So in the static memory allocations, you have to do the manipulation with the all the data variables. Stack you have to do the manipulation. That is a static memory allocation. Dynamic memory allocation in the sense there are main 4 types, right? Malloc, calloc, realloc, and free. So along with that, you have to do the operation. So in this, your microprocessor 8085, that is a applicable to dynamic. Applicable means it is a supports to dynamic memory allocations. So the always compared to dynamic and static, dynamic memory allocation is the more benefit. Everyone is going to be used DMA. So this DMA is supported by 8086 microprocessor. So, dear all students, uh, many times, frequently, this question is compulsory for the annual examinations if you have a offline examination. But nowadays, it is objective types, MCQ types. It's okay, but this is very very important features of microprocessor. Okay, so it's objective. Maybe you know need to that much effect, but as per university prescribed, you have to please be learn give 12 to 13 point whatever I mentioned, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. So these 12 points, all these points you have to mention, and each point you have to explain in 3 to 4 lines or in 2 to 3 lines. So you have to explain each line in 2 to 3 lines, which means that total 12 points are there. 12 into 3, that is 36 lines. Sorry, 12 into 3 is 36 lines. It's more than enough for your answer. Okay. For exam point of view, I'm telling, if it is a question, exam is in the offline, each point you have to explain minimum 2 to 3 lines in your own words. Whatever I explained now, same way you have to explain them in your own words. That is more than enough for your answer. Okay. In objective type also, they may asking you some questions. What's the bit capacity of 8385 microprocessor? That time he is giving an option 8 bit, 12 bit, yes, sorry, 8 bit, 16 bit, 32 bit, 64 bit. In that time you have to say the answer 8 bit. Okay, like this also they can use the MCQ questions in this topic. But compulsory 1 on 2 questions is compulsory on this topic. Please you go through this topic, don't forget it. That is features of microprocessor 8085. Got it this point? Now come to the syllabus. First slide, come to the syllabus. So this one in the second point of features and pin diagram, that first point I have to cover features of 8085 microprocessor. All 12 features I given you, all 12 features I explained you. Any doubts in this? Very interesting. Students are too active. I'm very happy for you. I always need such kind of students. Yes, please. Any doubts? Okay. Almost. Okay. Almost whatever I want to cover today, I have to cover it. Today's covering point is first introduction point. Next one is features. In the introduction point, I have to cover the components, microprocessor. Next point, I covered system bus. In that data bus, address bus, and control bus, I explained it clearly. And in the third points, I have to cover microprocessor systems, that bus system with the organization. So this part I have to cover. And then the next features and pin diagram, I have to cover this one, that is features of 8085 microprocessor. See, all of you with you have with syllabus, right? PAH University syllabus, Solapur. You have, right? Please, anyone, all of you have or not? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these points you go and check in that whatever I am covering through the syllabus. Okay. So these points I have to cover. So in next class I will cover pin diagram of 8085 microprocessor. So yesterday I got this question from one of the student. Please, I request you be present tomorrow. I will explain you whole 1 hour for pin diagram configuration of 8085. Please be present tomorrow, all of you. Is someone waiting? Just a minute. Yeah, one students are in waiting room. Okay, I'll admit it. Yeah, fine. So tomorrow's class, I'll move upon pin diagram of 8085 microprocessor. In that, all the 40 pins I will explain to you. Particular pins used for what purpose? Means working and functionality of each and every pin. 40 pins totally I will explain to you in the next class. Along with that, this architecture of 8085. Today also I have to got a question, but as per their interested bit things I explained. So in detail tomorrow I will explain the architecture of 8085. Okay. So dear all students, if any questions from the today's lecture, please, because actual your syllabus, actual some students have got late joining. Again, at beginning, whatever I said, I will repeat you in 1 or 2 minutes. So dear all students, whoever present here, every day you must and should attend the class, and please be present at a right time. Before I started class, please all of you get inside in the class. That's the first point. And second point, whatever I have to cover in the class, please you be concentrate while explaining. So today's whatever I explain a very easiest things. Okay. No, is there any difficulties in this today's whatever I have to explain it? Very easy, right? So please you be concentrate on the today's theory classes, and you gain some knowledge from that classes, and you make easiness. And the third point, after this I will share with you my PPT. I'll share with you my PPT. Today's whatever I have to explain to you, I'll share with you. And at the end of this unit, I'll share with you complete notes. I'll share with you complete notes. Okay. So now, uh, now all my dear students, you make your WhatsApp group on. In that, I'll share you with this PPT. So all of you go through this PPT. After once you have to study the PPT, later on I'll send you my notes, complete notes, 100% easiness notes. I'll send you. You go through it later on. After that, you go through textbook. In the textbook also you have to get some things and you have to get study. Okay. So now all of you, this is the my points for the study purpose. Please every day you have to follow it. So today is my first lecture. Today is my first lecture. Yesterday's and previous to yesterday's, these two lectures just I took it for basic things. So real your actual syllabus I have to start it today, and for the 2 hours, how much is need, that much I have to cover it. Okay. So today's whatever I have to cover, and tomorrow also whatever I want to be covered. Entire this PPT I'll share with you now. Entire this first unit PPT I'll share with you now. Please all of you go through it. After completion of this unit, I will share with you my complete notes. PPT is different, notes is different. Okay. Now make your WhatsApp on. First, I will make my WhatsApp on. Okay. This is fine. This is fine. Yes, I will make my WhatsApp on. Okay. Again, one more is waiting for admit. Okay, fine. So here is your group. That is SY BTech. CY. Okay. SY BTech A section. I'll share with you my PPT. Okay. Camera is not found. Okay. That's fine. So here, desktop, uh, microprocessor. Okay, that is that's fine. Just 1 second. Here it is available. Microprocessor. SY BTech A, then SY BTech B section. In that also I will share with you. That is okay. Dear all students, please go through this PPT. Today's whatever I have to cover, and this PPT is for entire this first unit. please you go and go through it and you tell me how you feel about this topic. Okay, I will put a message here. Yes, dear all students, now it's time 1:38. Okay, so for 20 minutes, I'll give you the time. Please, all of you go through this note, this PPT. If you are getting any doubts for the today's lecture, tomorrow's lecture, I will explain you in tomorrow and later on you have to ask a question. So whatever I have to cover today, up to features of 8085, if you have any doubts, please you ask me, go through it, study well, take a time to study. Please don't log out. Be all of you log in and you have to interact with me if you have any doubts. See, as per PPT, today I have to cover up to slide number 7. Up to slide number 7, you go through it. Whatever doubts arises, please uh, ask me. So in that note, see one thing, please all of you see the screen. All of you see the screen. So here, this is one notes also I have to prepare you. Dear students, this is one notes. That is the one notes I have to prepare for the unit number 1, introduction to microprocessor. In that I have to given 3 definitions, almost introduction I have to cover. All the text also I'll give you. So still I want to complete these notes. Again, I need 1 or 2 days to complete it. That's what I'm waiting to send you. So after 1 or 2 days, I'll send you this complete notes also. Just you have to visible. This is complete notes also I have to give you. So in this, I have to explain these components, right? So that components explanations I have given to here. So in such a way that I have to preparing a notes and I will give you. Don't worry about the notes. Okay. So again, 1 or 2 days I need to complete these notes and I will share with you up to that. Okay. So this is kind of things. This architecture I have to explain. So that explanation is also with this all address bus, data bus, control bus. So in such a way that I will make a notes and I'll give you very easy for you people. This much is more than 100% it is useful for you. Sufficient. Okay. So like that also I have to prepare and give you. So now just you have to go through the PPT. Whatever I shared with you. Any doubts, please ask me. I'll give time up to 2 o'clock. Still 20 minutes you have a time to ask questions. Please, I'm waiting for your doubts.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please.
So how does transistor works on single chip?
How does transistor works as a single chip? Okay, dear students, actually I have a microcontroller kit. So actually it is there in the lab with the showing that microcontroller kit. I will explain you Right now I don't have that kit. No, I'm in outside. So I will keep your question as a note, and along with that microcontroller kit, I will explain you. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Absolutely okay.
Because if I explain you with the microcontroller kit, means it is more effective, more understandable to you. So even though it is in a short way, I'll telling you. So you know the transistor. What is a transistor actually? Transistor is nothing but it is a three-terminal, two-section devices that is used in your physics and all. In the PUC also you have to use the topic of transistor, that is NPN transistor, PNP transistor. So this transistor is used for what? That is three terminal, means collector, base, emitter. Okay, collector, base, emitter. So as per the voltage power supplies, either it may be a negative voltage or positive voltage of the power supply, 5 is you given, right? Always here in the microprocessor also you have to using 5. So entire those are working functionality, that is single chip, means in the microcontroller it is single chip. In the single chip, in the futures what you saw, that there is a 6200 transistors we have to use. 6200 transistors, many transistors in a single chip. That chip is more maybe in a 12 centimeter into 12 centimeter size. In that you have to use more than 10,000 transistors. So all transistors are helpful to gain the power supply and to do the manipulation of the memory like register, in that data input and output, and to do the operations of all the logical units. Okay, so I think this is enough for you for today's. Later on I will explain you along with the microcontroller kit. Okay, fine. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Please, I'm not able to hear you.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay, thank you, please, I will make a note on make a note to your questions. I will explain whenever that time comes. Okay, fine. Is there any more questions from other people? Okay, one questions I got in the, okay, in through the WhatsApp. Provide notes of the topic if available in PDF form. Definitely I will provide you notes. Don't worry about notes. Don't worry about any study materials of microprocessor. So once I complete this first unit, immediately I will give you the notes, because your notes is under construction. So within today or within tomorrow, I complete your first unit notes, I will provide you. Don't worry about the notes. And next is why there are only 40 pins. It is possible to increase them, either decrease them. Uh, okay. So for this, yes, fine. Actually, good question. Okay. That what is 15528 mobile number? Okay, good question. So in the why we use 40 pins? So uh, before explaining this question, just one question to you. That is 15528 phone number. Just one question. Why the bike is having only two wheel, and why the car is having only four wheel, and that bus is having six wheels, right? Why two wheel for bike, four wheel for car, six wheel for bus, and 12 wheel for a goods vehicle? Why this is? Can you answer it, please? Please, my question to everyone. Can you answer? Why bike is having only two wheeler, scooter is having only two wheeler? If it is one wheeler,
For support.
is it not okay? Why? If it is three wheeler, is it not okay? Why? Can you answer it? Anyone, please? Please,
For
15528 phone
support.
number. You have any answer? Why bike is having a two wheeler apart from any other one or three, four?
Their
Please
condition and
interact with
requirement.
me. I'm waiting. It is balanced with two wheel and four wheel. Yes, I think you got answer. Your answer is there in your sentence only. So it means that in the 8085, only the see you used that IC chips, NAND gate, and OR gate, XOR gate, NOT gate. See, NOT gate is having only two pins. One is input, one is output, right? So NAND gate, it is having a 8 pins. Some NAND gates are having 14 pins, 16 pins. It is depends upon why the microprocessor is made. It as a 40 pins only, means it is not only restricted to 40 pins actually, but they have to make a one of the good design, one of the good architecture on the microprocessor chip that is prepared by 40 pins. So, and that 40 pins is most appropriate for the practical to all other such things, all other such things in a microprocessors. That is appropriate one. See, more than 40 pins microprocessor chip is also available. Less than 40 pins microchip is also available. For the basic study purpose, they have to kept only 40 pins of 8085. So here in the syllabus, they have to mention only 40 pins, means you don't go restricted to only 40 pins. Or maybe it is more than 40, or maybe it is less than 40 pins. All are available, all are functionality, all our workability is available in the market. Okay, so I think I cleared you, and that is why there are only 40 pins. You don't restrict it is only 40 pins, but in the 40 pins they have to design sufficient information for input and output and do the manipulation in the 8085. So for that purpose, they have to using 40 pins. Like this, in the two-wheeler bike, we have to use only two-wheeler. Four-wheeler, we have to use it also. It is okay, no problem. But it is heavy to drive. It is comfortable with the two-wheeler, means why we'll go for four-wheeler? Is it okay? Isn't it? That for that purpose, we have to use only 40 pins of microprocessor. Okay, I think I answered you. 15528. Is it okay? Yes, it's okay. Already you replied yes, sir. Yes, fine. Thank you. And is there any more question? Okay, no questions. Yes, please. Any questions? Yeah, please. Such a entertainment questions you asking, yeah. It's too interesting. Very nice. Very good. Really appreciate your questions. Your interest in this microprocessor. Very nice. Thank you a lot. I get more interest to teach you. Yes, please. Is there any more questions? Okay, please go to a PPT. All of you got my PPT, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
All of you got my today's lecture PPT.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you go through it. You will. Please, anyone, if you want to hesitate to ask, uh, type me a text in the WhatsApp group.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello. Yeah, please. Any questions?
No, sir.
Hello.
No, sir.
I'm not audible. Your voice is very slow.
No, sir.
Hello. I'm not able to audible you.
No any questions, sir.
Okay, no any questions. Okay, fine. Okay. Now it's 2 o'clock. Okay, fine. Dear students, I'll stop my class, today's class here. Please, I'll saved with you. Today's my lecture PPT, and tomorrow's also I saved with you. Almost tomorrow we will go through the next remaining portion of the first unit. I'll complete these notes. Tomorrow I will provide you notes of this first unit. I will provide you notes. So don't worry about study material. 100% accurate study material I will provide you. Just all of you go through it, study well, get doubts, create more number of questions, and come and ask me in the next class. Okay, fine. Can I stop it here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Yes, one will be 50 admitting, going to now admitted be 50. Okay, fine. So I'll stop my today's lecture. Please go through it. Get more doubts on this. List out more points, doubt points on this, and come with the next class. So next class is tomorrow at first session. So for attending my class interestedly, actually I am very happy with you for today's class. This is my first lecture. Today's class I'm very happy. Like your interactions, your way of asking questions, your way of supporting me for the class, your way of doing interactions with me. You are always well communicated for your side. I'm very much thank to you. I'm very happy. Thank you one and all. Please don't forget to attend the classes in future also. Not only my subject, in all the subject. Please be regular, get a knowledge, gain the some good things from the subject, and you have to improve yourself. Okay. Thank you one and all. Now all of you text a message for your attendance, and you have to leave the meeting. Thank you one and all.